I have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the channel. How are you guys all doing? We're live again. Another stream on the Blue Lounge. Another panel for you guys to watch. We are going to be discussing a few topics today. Mainly the preseason that we've just had. Two games in 2 days. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing some of the transfer news. But before we do anything, smash the like button on the stream. Make sure you're sharing it on your social media. Let's get as many people in here as humanly possible. So we've got 11 people in the chat. Big up to all of you. Smash that like button and get the stream out to the masses by sharing it on your social media platforms. I would very much appreciate that. All right, let me introduce the world champions. Here we go. Yo, how you guys doing?
All good.
Good.
Yeah, we're
good.
Everyone
We're good.
Fantastic. We have got, as always, Blue Clouds Media, Nee Zion. Big up to you, my man. How you doing, Nee?
Doing all right. Thank you very much. Nice to be here again.
We've got a returning guest, Matt from the Stamford Sink. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me back on.
And we've got the legend himself, Worldwide Chelsea, Sadiq. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Pleasure to be on again. Good to see the guys in the panels as well.
Fantastic. And we've got a debutant. A debutant on the panel, not a debutant on the channel. It's Kai from the Behind the Dugout. Welcome, Kai. How are you?
Doing good, man. Good. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. It's been good to talk to everyone again. I know we had a little chat the other day, so it's good to be back.
Welcome, Esteban.
We did. It was a good chat. Do you know what, Kai? You have got a fantastic perspective on all things Chelsea, and your content needs more views, man. Guys,
it's a grind.
It's a grind. But this platform is for everyone. So right now, if you go in the description, you will find a link to every single one of the panelists on this channel. Excuse me. Show some love. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe. Go check out their content, and I'm sure you will enjoy everything they have to offer. There's streams, there's long form content, there's some shorts. They're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're all over the place. So go check them out. You won't be disappointed. Big up to Daniel Knight in the chat. I see you, my brother. Big up to you. I wanna just start by talking about the preseason. We've had two fantastic results against two formidable teams. I mean, Leverkusen and AC Milan are no pushovers. They're no mugs. You know, they're very, very good teams in very, very good leagues. But we made light work of them. I think we did anyway. We had Sadiq at the bridge for both of the games. Sadiq, fill us in on how you saw the game from the stands, mate. I mean, it must be a different atmosphere. How did it go?
Yeah, I just want to big up the fans first of all. So far this preseason, the atmosphere was phenomenal. I've been someone that's been critical of the atmosphere in the past couple of years. I didn't think it's been at the best. Obviously, if you go to away games, they're 10 out of 10 every single game, but home games was a bit dull over the last couple of seasons. So I think becoming Club World Cup winners, the fans are buzzing. The fans are excited for the new season. We've got great signings that have come in. I think they've done well, which we'll obviously get into. And yeah, just there were a lot more positives than negatives compared to especially last season, which we'll get into. I think there's only like one or two negatives that I could say, but there's a lot of positives. There's a lot of good link-ups, a lot of good gelling between the players already. So I'm looking forward to this season for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I've spoken to a few people who were at both games, and the vibe is different. you're spot on. The past couple of seasons, I think our expectations were kind of right at the bottom because of what we've seen. With the amount of managers we've had, the performances, the results.
Yeah.
It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't something that we could write home about. But I think what Maresca did last season and towards the end of the season, with the Conference League title, with the Club World Cup title, finishing in the Champions League spot, that has really changed the perception of us fans in regards to our club. We are going to the games expecting to see our team win. While before we were like, we hope we don't lose. We hope we don't concede.
Yeah.
Now our expectation is to win. So I'm going to open it to the panel. How do you guys think the preseason has gone so far?
I think it's gone pretty well. There's one thing I want to mention about the preseason. Obviously, the players haven't had a lot of rest, which it could play a factor later in, maybe fatigue, a bit of muscle tightness going into the latter stages of the season. But I also think it's been a positive in we haven't had a lot of time to disconnect. They haven't put on as much weight or eaten as much food, which means their fitness levels have stayed quite high. And they just seem to be fluid throughout. We know what pre-season's generally like. They struggle to make a couple of passes together. They're still trying to get back into the flow to get ready for the league. But out of the 2 games that we played, we look ready to go already. Out of all the other teams that I have watched in pre-season, they all look disjointed, where we look like a unit ready to compete, which I think is going to play a big factor, especially in the opening part of the season. With the opening games that we do have, there's a potential to pick up maximum points and put us in a very good position because we just seem so connected, so sort of ready to get going again. I don't know what you guys think.
I think
spot on. Yeah, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I think it's been really interesting this preseason because what you normally get that we absolutely haven't had for ages is your games against like Accrington Stanley and Argyle and Dundee and, do you know what I mean, Servette and, these kind of lower tier teams to build you in and warm in and whatever. And it's like, if you look at the last, 8 games that we've played, like starting from the Club World Cup, other than Esperance, really, and maybe, I guess, arguably LAFC, all of them have been against like high tempo teams. Do you know what I mean? So our preseason sort of started ish fitness wise in the Club World Cup. Obviously, there's been a bit of a break, but there's been no time to get back into it. Do you know what I mean? And use this opportunity against this smaller team to get in the right mindset and stuff. It's like for all these new signings that have come in, Jamie Gittins and João Pedro and Dario Asugo and all these young lads, they've been thrown into the fire and they're already looking good, man. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we've seen a bad performance from anyone in the preseason, to be honest. Obviously, there's been loads of magical moments like Esteval and Cole Palmer looking like he's getting back to his best and stuff. But even from the young guys and the new guys, Tyreek George not exactly looked at his best, but, that's kind of to be expected, I guess, with everything that's going on with him. But I just think it's really impressive that we've thrown all of this group of young, new lads who are brand new to the team. We've thrown them all into the fire, do you know what I mean? Straight into the kitchen. And they're performing really well. So I think it's been great.
I agree with both of your points, specifically the fact that we've had the Club World Cup. It has given us a what's the word here? The consistency, the form, the fact that we are in preseason, but we're not playing like it's a preseason. We're playing like we are there. We are playing midway through the season. We have our players connecting with each other. The chemistry seems to be spot on, even though we've got a lot of new additions into the squad. I think this will hold us in good stead, especially for the first few fixtures, which are relatively easier than some of the other teams. So we are in good stead to have a good start to the season. But yeah, what do you guys think about the signings? I know you guys mentioned some of the players, but Gittins, Delap, João Pedro, Joel Hatto. What do you guys think about their performances so far?
Can I jump in with the way I see how the season's going so far, or how the team is gelling together so far? For what I'd say is, I know we haven't seen these kind of preseason before, but obviously, to me, I would say I think that it's playing an advantage to Chelsea. Looking at the level of performances is way above any other team that we've seen so far. I watched, Man City yesterday, and I feel like, dude, they are lacking a lot of things in their team. And for where we are and the number of games we've played so far, it's all new to the team, new to the manager, new to the whole fans as well. So going into Sunday, the new season kickoff, I feel like it's a good advantage to Chelsea. It's not like we'll be playing 2 games in a week, 1 game and then we'll rest. During the competition, we were playing like every 3 or 4 days, every 3 days, but they still play a game and then wait for another week to go again. So that will give the kids much more. Just like my brother said, I know there's fatigue there. There could be muscle problems, but that will give them time to recover, playing 1 game at a time. But the sharpness will still be there, and that kind of squad building, the harmony that we are ready for everyone. That's what they're showing on the pitch. I see that they're ready for everyone. If you're coming to the bridge, make sure you're ready. You got all your ammo, all your goods ready to destroy Chelsea, because they are ready for everyone to play again. So that's what I think, that although we play a lot of games, it doesn't look like we've rested that much. It will play an advantage to Chelsea when the season gets going.
We got a question from Daniel Knight. He says, who would you start up front for Crystal Palace, Delap or João Pedro? Daniel, I think either one can do the job, but I also have a feeling that we don't actually have to choose, because I think there is room for both of them in the team. The only hindrance to having both of them in the team would be you don't want to risk having one injured and you don't have that rotation. So possibly they could both play. With our attacking lineup, there is a lot of diversity, a lot of fluidity, so we can play multiple different options in attack. But yeah, Sadiq,
Yeah.
what do you think about the new signings, man, and their performances? I mean, you've seen them in the flesh.
Yes, it's been good. I mean, diving into the performances, I think it's mixed across both. For example, when we saw Delap start, I didn't think he done enough personally off the ball compared to like João Pedro. If you saw him today, he brought in Tomori to come into the middle of the pitch. Cole Palmer was able to run in behind. He was able to open up space. And I know they're 2 different types of play, but Delap coming on today looked way more sharper, looked way more better. So I think there's been pros and cons in these performances. Like, for example, Estavo, I think on Friday was better, in my opinion, compared to today. The fans were hyped for him. The fans were excited. They wanted him on the ball every single touch as soon as he come on. And I hope there isn't too much expectation, too much pressure on the kid. You know, he's still young and there's a lot to get through. But yeah, even Gittins, my first praise of him was the close ball control. I'm not going to say he's like Eden Hazard or anything, but in terms of he's able to get out of tight spaces, always looking forward, always tries that forward pass that we see with Cole Palmer. And what I wouldn't say at the start is the link-up play, it's like they're starting to understand, starting to gel very, very slowly. And we're seeing players that are not meant to be in the squad, obviously going to be leaving. And we can talk about João Pedro against Nicholas Jackson. I think Nicholas Jackson still has, positives about his game, but his shooting technique, ability just isn't good enough. And I think João Pedro excels in that.
Do you know, you mentioned Estevao. I think when he won the penalty, he grabbed the ball and he gave it to Delap. That showed a lot of maturity. That showed, this lad is only 18 years old. And, there was a lot of talk in the media about Delap's reaction to João Pedro scoring and, the fact that he hasn't scored. And I think, Estevao doing that, it shows the chemistry we have within the squad, the harmony, the team mentality. And I think, to have that with, some of the new additions to the squad is beautiful to watch. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think that there's probably been a conversation that's been had at some point after the situation that happened in the Pochettino season with Madueke and Jackson fighting each other for that penalty. I feel like that's probably something that's been talked about, like in general, to say like, and I think it's really good from Esteval, like you say as well. Like what he didn't do there is what Madueke might have done in that situation and tried to snatch the ball or whatever. So it, like you say, it's really good for team harmony. But I have the feeling that with penalties in particular, we can't ever have that happen again, man. Do you know what I mean? We literally can't ever have it again where our players are arguing on the pitch in a game that they're winning, by the way, about who's going to have the penalty. So I think it's probably something like if Cole Palmer's on, he takes it. If he's not, the striker takes it. You know, maybe they've got something in place like that. Do you know what I mean? Just to kind of keep it clean.
I agree. I feel like there's been about behind the scenes conversation on who takes the penalties and who's second. Because I could feel like even if Delap is on the pitch with Cole Palmer at the same time, it's going to be Palmer. If Palmer is not there, then the second penalty taker, it will be Delap. That gives the advantage also in terms of the goal tally also to Delap. But also, I mean, it's good that we have. If you look at what we have right now, we have a number of players that are good on the penalty, kick. João Pedro, one of them. We all know that most of the goals that he got for Brighton are coming from the penalty spot. So we know that when we have to go, we have to decide the game through penalties. We have top 3 players there. Then whoever comes in making 5, we know we can get 3 in. Then we can worry about the other 2 to get our 5 penalty shootouts. So that's a good thing. That's a plus for the team.
100%. I think we have got a plethora of options in penalties and free kicks. I mean, the free kick that Cole Palmer had today. Oh my God! Literally a hair width away from going in, and that was a powerful shot. I mean, Cole Palmer, different level, man, different level, and I think we are seeing a different side to Cole Palmer in the Club World Cup in pre-season. I think it's going to be carried into the next season. Cole Palmer has been given that freedom that he needs for him to be able to connect the gameplay. I think he has got wingers that he can depend on, rely on, and I think the freedom that he's been given, we are seeing some interchanges happening from Gittins, from Esteval, from all the Pedro Neto, all the guys up front, and Cole Palmer is that link between everything, and I think it's working out beautifully. Really looking forward to next season and seeing what Cole Palmer has achieved this season. I think he's gonna surpass what he's already done for Chelsea. Would you guys think?
Yeah, I think trust plays a big part in the game in the sense. So I would say, especially over the last season, Palmer lost a lot of trust in his forward line. The likes of Madueke and Jackson that were just giving the ball and wasting chances all the time. And now he's got a clean slate, a new set of attackers, bar Pedro Neto, in terms of like Esteval, Gittins, Delap and Pedro, and they're banging in the chances. I mean, Pedro at the moment, he can't miss. Delap seems to be bagging in the goals as well. Gittins, though he hasn't sort of scored yet, his close ball control, he's a great 1v1. He already looks more balanced. I always find with Madueke that he always just looked off balance. Even when he was running, when he was shooting, he just never looked like he was centered. Always looked like he was about to fall over or slip when he was shooting.
Chasing the ball. He was always chasing the ball rather than
exactly. Where Gittins, everything is close, it's touch tight. He's always checking his shoulders, but he's confident to take on those players. And even though he failed a few times today, I think it was against Musa on the right side, he still kept going at him, and he did get some joy. His end product was a bit 50-50 today, but he's got the confidence to keep going and keep going. And then you look at the right side, you've got Pedro Neto, Esteval, who's come in, and he just looks settled straight away. And again, we don't want to put too much pressure, as Sadiq said, because he is a young boy, but he's showing that he can handle the pressure at the moment. he's come in, he looks confident. Even when he dropped in the 10 today, he's always wanting to get on the ball. He doesn't shy away or hide behind anyone else. He wants to get on the ball. He's showing, he's constantly calling, he's trying to make things happen. Even that one where he picked it up on the right-hand side, drove in to the middle and took a shot. There's not many 18-year-olds that are going to do that on, playing your second game for a brand new club at the size of the club that Chelsea is. So there is a lot of positives, and Palmer is going to be a lot happier. You can see in the way that he's playing, the fact that he feels that he can trust the players in front of him, that if he gives the ball, they're not going to lose it, they're not going to waste it. So he's got more confidence in doing that and not trying to overdo it himself, where sometimes he's getting caught because he's trying to do everything. But I think he's going to have a really, really good season next. Well, in a week's time, I think that's when it kicks off. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, we've talked about the attack. I wanna talk about the midfield now. We'll go to the defense in a second, but Andreas Santos, what do you guys think of his performances so far? Because I'm seeing difference of opinion. Me personally, I think he's had 2 decent games. I don't think he's done much wrong. But I've also seen people who criticised him in those 2 games. What's your assessment? I'd like to hear from all of you on this.
With Andreas Santos, for me, I think that the position that he's playing, and I thought this in the Club World Cup as well, I feel like I'm not seeing a lot of him, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I know he's got all of this attacking flair and he can score all these goals, and obviously he played like a really big part in Strasbourg's attack when he was out there. But I think for a midfielder, and I kind of feel the same about Enzo Fernandez sometimes as well. Sometimes you can go almost like a whole half without even noticing that Fernandez is there. And that, to me, doesn't say he's not playing well. It actually says he's playing really well because he's not making mistakes and he's not causing problems, and he's kind of always being where he needs to be, and his positional kind of awareness is really good. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, coming from the season he's just had in Strasbourg, there's big expectation. Do you know what I mean? Lots of people are like, I was saying it, when I started my channel, I was like, Andre Santos is going to push Enzo Fernandez for that spot, and maybe that was a little bit, maybe I was getting a bit ahead of myself there. But I think the difficult thing as well is you've got to think about, like, what's his instruction? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what is Maresca telling him to do? And if Maresca is not saying to him, get forward, try and score goals, and, at the end of the day, that assist for Delap was wicked. Do you know what I mean? It was really, really good. It was quality. So I think that he's not taking the game by the scruff of the neck, maybe because that's not what he's being told to do. But I think he's a good player, man. And I think he's an excellent backup to someone like Fernandez. And he offers something a little bit different to Lavia as well. So I think he's going to be a great squad player for us.
Yeah, I think to add on the Santos thing, we look at the position he's playing. He's playing a central defensive midfield, maybe an 8, but their job is to sweep and control the game and stop any counter attacks. And if the teams are not counter attacking us and they're not getting in behind, then he's doing his job. So, in that sense, he's not gonna be a player that's gonna get you 10, 15 goals a season, because it's not what he's brought in to do. Those are what the forward line is for. He's there to break up attacks and to get in those attacking positions to aid in attack when he can, sort of like Enzo does when he pushes a bit forward to have Caicedo as that lone CDM. And today, he popped up in that half space, first time ball into the lap, great little play. And he's going to do that in spits and spurts. He's not going to do that every single minute of every single game. And that's what a lot of fans have got to understand. He's not... And I suppose they look at it and go, look at Esteval, another Brazilian coming in. They've got high hopes. They want to see him bag loads of goals. Santos is a completely different player, completely different position, and he's going to have completely different expectations from Maresca and a completely different job. And that's what we've got to... He's just there to break up play and, to progress it, especially when we're playing out from the back. Although I have seen a slight switch in a tactical approach where Maresca, where it was very, in the start, play out from the back, no matter what. If you go long, you're coming off, you ain't starting again. And now he's sort of given the option to Sanchez to either play out if there's space, or like we saw today where they got the red card, to go long in behind for João Pedro to potentially create some problems there, which is a good variety. But Santos is going to aid them in playing out from the back, and that's what he's going to do and drop in those little holes. So I think he's done really well. And again, though he's been with us for quite a while, he hasn't actually been with us. And now he looks like he's going to get a whole season for us. And I think we're going to be surprised by the end of the season of what he pops up with, definitely.
I think I'm going to add that to what my brother just said. It's very, very easy to criticize players that don't have those, who don't show those skills and tricks and all that things, because most of the time you barely see them with the balls, and attacking players have majority of the ball. So even I'll say in about 30 minutes in the game, I didn't even see Enzo Fernandez. I was like, is Enzo in? So I went back to check the team sheet, and I saw Enzo's name there, and I saw him in about 30 minutes in the game. Also, we have to remember that we were dominating the game. Most of the game was all on the attack. And it's barely much for us to see, Enzo Fernandez or maybe what's his name, Santos doing.
He did have one very, very good shot.
Right. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw him. I was like, oh, he's in the game. But yeah, just like my brother said, the ball did not skip past them. It means that they were sweeping up. They were cleaning all that mess. So we did not concede many goals. But then no matter what, the fan base will find something to criticize or something to talk about. Even winning 4-1 to sing praises to the team, still criticizing young player, few games with Chelsea, hasn't got much Premier League experience. Still, we forget about all of these and still criticize the players. That's my take on it.
Yeah, just want to add something very quickly before you go on, Mo. I'm probably one of those, by the way. I'll probably find something negative. Because there were still negatives. But just on Andre Santos, he was great. He was, just like Nee said, sweeping up. I saw him flying in, blocking shots. He was doing everything. So I think like what Behind the Dugout was saying as well, the expectation, what Maresca's expecting of the players could be very different from what the fans are seeing for Andre Santos. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into the defensive issues because there was times where AC Milan could have made it 2-1, 2-2, and could have been a bit of a worry, I think. And I was watching that right in front of me at the shed upper, and it was right in front of me where if I was an AC Milan player, I would have tucked them in. Personally, I would have tucked them in. They were taking too long with the shots. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, we will be talking about the defense in just a second. But one thing that I heard mentioned, and again, this is pundits, and pundits can have an opinion, but whether or not it's true, only time will tell. But I heard from a few pundits that Enzo Maresca is looking to give Santos a more advanced role, trying to get him to do what we did with Kante towards the latter parts of his career at Chelsea, where he'd be pushing forward. But I think we have that in Enzo Fernandez. And I think if Enzo Fernandez is there with Caicedo or with Santos, that role isn't really needed by the other two. And if Caicedo and Santos play, then maybe we'll ask him to push more forward. But I totally agree. I think he is better playing as a deep line defensive midfielder and playing the ball into the attackers. And I think his ability to break up play, his tackling ability is fantastic. I think his defensive awareness is brilliant. But yeah, in regards to Enzo Fernandez, we didn't see much of him. We didn't see much of Santos. Well, it's good. That means the ball was on the other side of the pitch. And Delap, João Pedro, Palmer, Gittins, Neto, they were handling it. So let's talk about the defense. We have got the unfortunate situation of Levi Colwill, and we all wish him a swift and a positive recovery. We want to see him back into the team as soon as possible. But this has given us a little bit of a headache. And today, Chalobah almost gave us a heart attack. Okay, because when he went down, it looked pretty serious. It looks like it's not serious. It looks like he will be back very, very soon, potentially for the upcoming fixture with Crystal Palace. But I want to know what you guys think about the youngsters who have been brought in to fill in. I know this is a couple of preseason friendlies, and the manager will be trying out different players. Are you guys comfortable with the defensive situation at the moment?
I'm a bit comfortable with what we already have, because my problem is I don't want the team or the club to bring in too many players that can distract what he's building, and but they should be a little worried. I don't know if Achampong can really go through the whole season if he's getting regular game time, he's getting more than he did last season. I don't know if he'll be the guy, but he has put no foot wrong. He's done a great job so far, so good for him. But bringing in another centre back could help, because still I can trust Wesley Fofana for a whole season without getting injured. I wouldn't even talk about Lavia. I wouldn't even say his name because his position is a bit different, but he's part of that defensive role. But then especially the centre back is where we're looking at. The left side, I think we're good with Giroud, Heto, and his brother Marco Kurela. That place is secured. On that right-hand side, Reece James, also, I'm not so certain if he can go a whole season without breaking down. And we know what we're dealing with. But I'm very, very happy with Enzo Maresca, the way he managed players, because we know Pedro Neto's injury situation from Wolverhampton before he joined Chelsea. And since then, we haven't seen, Neto, Pedro gone for 5 games, but he's been consistent. So going forward, it's very, very difficult. Should I see one more defender with Badishile playing as a left centre back? Jerry Hato, who can also come in and play as a left centre back. Right side, I think we should be good. We should be good until somewhere around April when Levi Koa return. We should be good for now.
Renato Vega is also an option. He's not sold yet, so
I think he has a big problem with Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca don't want to see him on the pitch. I think he's selling him.
I think it's the other way around, to be fair. I think Renato Vega wanted to go to Atletico Madrid, and he pushed for that move. That move didn't happen, and I think it was more on the side of the player rather than the side of the manager. I'm hoping if we are able to keep him, then we should focus on that, because I think he would definitely help us in that position. But again, if there is anything going on with Enzo Maresca, then we don't want to have that disturbance in the dressing room. But yeah, thoughts on the defense, lads?
I think. Oh, do you want to go first, Matt?
No, go for it, mate. Yeah, go for it.
I think with the Renato Vega thing, I think that bridge was burnt last season. I think that was it. I've seen reports saying that no matter what happens with the defence, he's still going. So I don't think he's going to sort of stay at any point. He's not in the plans. And if he was, we would have seen at least him on the bench today, because we lost Levi Colwill, this week. So he's had 2 opportunities to even just get him on the bench to reintegrate him a little bit, and he hasn't done that. So I don't see him then going to Crystal Palace next week and having him on the bench or starting him. It just doesn't seem likely. With the centre-back situation, I suppose it's a bit 50-50. Before the incident with Trevor, and it looks like he was fine because I think he was doing the trophy lift at the end. I think he come back on the pitch, so I think he's all right. But the moment he went down, before that, fans were like, nah, we're okay. We're okay with what we got, and I was fine with that as well. With Toss and Trevor, I think we would have been all right with the backups that we had, knowing that Fofana is sort of one step away from going out again. But as soon as Trevor went down, that was it. Everyone was like, no, we have to have another one. So we're always going to be that one centre-back away from begging for a replacement. The problem being is the club see Levi Colwill, and I think too, being the permanent solution, the centre-back that we're going to use going forward, especially in that left-sided role. So are they going to bring a quality young centre-back that's got experience, that's played at a high level as a temporary option? First of all, that player's not going to come in and want to be temporary. So we're going to need to look in the older experience, and we know the club don't like going older. So we're sort of in a mixed bag there. I feel like they are going to stick with what we have. I think the only option would have been Mark Gurhey, but he pulled his hamstring today, so that's off the cards. In the Crystal Palace game, I haven't seen if it's a serious one, but he had to come off. So I can imagine that one's probably looking very unlikely now. I still think to be covered, to be safe, that we potentially need another centre-back as a backup in. I thought Josh has been superb in the last 2 games, and I rate Josh very, very highly. And I wouldn't like to see... I know Hato can play as the left centre-back, but at the moment we move him over to the left centre-back role, we've just left Cucurella on his own for the rest of the season again. And we can't do that. We can't get him through another season just playing in that left-back role. So I think it's going to be the better and the safer option to bring in another defender, knowing that we are always going to be that one centre-back injured away from begging for a replacement because we've got no one that we can rely on. I think Badiashiel's still out till September, isn't he?
We've got Disati.
No, we haven't. He's going. Wolves are looking at buying him, aren't they, mate? He's done.
Who's that?
Disasi.
We don't mention that name. Disaster.
Kai, I've actually got a bit of a counter to what you said about Renato Vega, man. Like,
go
you know the bridge burn thing, right?
Yeah.
All I would say about that is like, look at Trevor Chalobah, started last year. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Trevor Chalobah, bridges burnt, mate. Do you know what I mean? Bridges burnt.
Yeah,
and
but I think that was
day,
bridges burnt.
Yeah, well, basically, like, you know, whether it was one side or the other side that burnt the bridge, at the end of the day, situationally, if you know, these are all career people, man. At the end of the day, Renato Vega wants to play football, and he joined us for a reason. And if there's an option to play football for Chelsea now, I don't necessarily think not getting to play centre back last year or whatever. I don't know if he's had like a personal fallout with Maresca or something.
That's what I think. I think the Renato Vega, where Trevor Chalobah, it wasn't so much a falling out with the manager, it was the club really wanted to sell him, and they were trying everything to get rid of him. Where I think Renato Vega, it's between him and Maresca, and I think that's where it might be slightly different.
Yeah,
because Maresca wants him for...
I think these things can be repaired.
I would wait.
Do you know what I mean?
I would wait until the end of the transfer window. I think you know, both scenarios are there. What Kai is saying makes sense. What Matt is saying makes sense as well. But I think the whole situation will be judged at the end of the transfer window. If a team comes in for Renato Vega and puts a bid on the table, Chelsea will get rid and potentially get another centre back. But I think at the end of the transfer window, if Renato Vega is still here, then he would be integrated into the team somehow, somewhere. Yeah. Because we do need to fill that position, especially with the Levi Colwill situation. So both point of views are
if we can keep him and he wants to
I want
play,
to jump in for a second, just about 2 cents. Add 2 cents to this.
Look,
I know we're hesitant on when, just like Matt just said. Is it Kai? Yeah, Kai just said. We feel like we're just one player away from replacing any injured centre back. What I'd say is, are we looking for an okay centre back? If you're not looking for just an okay centre back to come in and be part of the team, or if we're looking for top centre back, then that can create a bit of a problem. Because if you bring a top centre back and Levi Colwill, recover and returns in April, then you have Badiashiel also returning. It can create a lot of problem because you're going to end up paying 50 to 60 million if you're going for what's his name? Is it Araujo from Barcelona, or you're bringing in someone from Benfica or wherever you're bringing them? It would take you almost about 60 to 70 million, and would that person be your starting center back if those would I say trusted centre back that Enzo Maresca have been working with when they return, Levi Colwill and maybe Badiashile, if they return, will the player that you're bringing in, will he be okay to sit on the bench? And I don't think you want to pay 60 million to a centre back to come and be on the bench.
I think if we go for Araujo, we'll be paying 60 million for a person who will be in the ER 24/7. I've checked out his injury record, and it's horrendous. I was showing it to Matt just before the stream. The guy spent, I think, over 150 days the season before last, injured. He spent 2 weeks injured last season. He spent, I think, 90 days the season before that. So he knows all the nurses in ER by first name. Trust me, lads. This guy is a disaster. He's a great player, but for some reason he gets injured all the time. And I looked at his record: ankle, hamstring, back, knee, you name it, he's had it. So great player, but no, thank you.
This is exactly why I think the defence as well. Like, is what's the point in going in and spending 40 to 60 million on a centre back when, like I say, if it's a lot cheaper to repair the relationship with Renato Vega, and also I understand what you're saying, Nia, about Levi Colwell's coming back in April, but at the end of the day, I think you said so yourself as well. Look how Maresca is treating players that are coming back from long injuries. If Levi Colwell is fit again in April, he's not coming back in to play every single game like he has been. Do you know what I mean? We might be looking at the entire. Maybe he comes back in April, and then maybe at the start of next season, he's got an option to work his way back into playing in that first team every single game. So even if he's fit within the season, I don't think we're looking at. I don't think we'll see Levi Colwell just come straight back into the team because, like you said, Joe, I mean, Maresca obviously is definitely taking his time with these players with long injuries. So someone like Renato Vega offers, and it's kind of like a twofold positive if you think about it from like the financial perspective as well. If we play for Renato Vega in the Levi Colwell position now for the season, and he still wants to leave at the end of the season, then we'll get more than the 40 mil we're looking for him now as well. Do you know what I mean? So, it seems to make the most sense. We're not going to get without us getting fleeced for 60 mil for a centre back that, like you said, Nee, is just going to come in and create loads of problems because there's too many on that books and stuff. If anything, I just see the Renato Vega thing as the easiest potential solution. And like you say, man, he might absolutely go. Atletico come in with a 40 mil bid for him, and we take that and we use it to buy another. 100%, I can see that happening. But I would hope we would try and be smarter than that because we've done so well with squad harmony. We've just seen it in the preseason games, man. Everyone's kind of getting, obviously it's preseason, but everyone's getting a chance, and it looks like there's lots of rotational options. There's a lot of games coming up, so everyone's going to get to play. We've just, it only feels like yesterday that we had players changing in the corridors. Do you know what I mean? Because we were absolutely stacked. And I would hope that we're not going to get anywhere sort of towards that again. And like I say, man, I think the worst thing we can do is buy a Araujo or, do you know what I mean? Just go. We'll get fleeced, man. Disaster tax is a real thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just quickly, guys. Thank you for having me on, Mo. Sorry to cut you off as well. The panel. It's a pleasure seeing you guys again. I'll see you guys definitely next week for a proper session. And enjoy the rest of the stream. And everyone tuning in, like the video as always, people.
All right.
Looking forward to
nice talking to you, Steve.
Mate. Listen, I know you've been busy the past couple of weekends, so thank you for making time to jump on. Much appreciated, and I look forward to next week.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Take care, guys.
Worldwide Chelsea, guys. Link in the description. Take care, Sadiq. Bye bye. Let me just reorganize the screen. There we go. All right. Any more thoughts on the defensive situation before we move over to the other topic?
I love the fact we've got two of the best fullbacks in the world.
They're not conceding many goals, so that's what I'm happy about. I'm not really shaky. I'm good.
I just hope we don't have any injuries to him. I mean, we have got alternatives. But Cucurella and Reece James, when they're fit, when they're playing,
we look like a different team.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge for anyone. Yeah, it's a challenge for anyone.
Reece James was so good today, man.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
What they offer in attack as well as in defense. I mean, Cucurella, he can play. He plays as a left winger as well as a left back in the same time, and when needs be, he's also a defensive midfielder. So he's a one-man team. So big up to Cucurella. Fantastic purchase, and I'm just glad we actually stuck with him because at some point when we first got him, I know his performances weren't so great. He was dealing with a lot of personal issues. His house got robbed. He had an accident. He had issues. So I'm so happy to see that he's got everything back on track and his mind is on the pitch and his focus is on the pitch. So I'm happy for Cucurella. I'm not going to talk too much about Sanchez because there really isn't much we can do. He's here for the rest of the season. It doesn't look like we're waiting for a goalkeeper. I know there was talks, for Mignon, who we saw today, and there was talks about Donnarumma, who we saw in the Club World Cup final. But I think Sanchez, let's give him a chance. Let's give him the season. If he puts in the performances that we know he's capable of, I don't think we have a problem. But if he tries to play the ball with his feet and try to play it as a centre back, now we have issues. We're going to have issues. I want to talk a little bit about the whole Garnacho situation. Actually, let's do both. Let's do Garnacho and Xavi Simons. Right now, we're hearing a lot of recycled news, but it looks like the Garnacho situation is more advanced. It's more advanced because of the lack of complications that relate to the whole deal. The player wants to come. Chelsea want to sell. Manchester United want to. Sorry, Chelsea want to buy. Manchester United want to sell. And it's just about agreeing the fee. And I think the difference between what Chelsea are prepared to offer, what Manchester United are asking for, is about 10 million, which is not an issue. It will be resolved some way, somehow. It will be fixed. Garnacho coming to Chelsea looks like a done deal. It's just a matter of time. And Fabrizio Romano, every couple of days, he will just post, advancing, nearly done. Now, I'm getting bored of making videos about it. I'm sure you guys are bored of making videos about it as well. It's just literally the same thing over and over again. But in regards to Xavi Simons, it looks like it's a little bit more complicated because there is other avenues that are being approached, other avenues that are being talked about. We heard about Cardi Chukwuemeka being put in at some point. Now we're hearing about Nkunku being, mentioned in regards to the deal. It looks like Chelsea and even RB Leipzig have got a need to replace Xavi Simons. It's not just about selling him, but they also want a replacement. They were linked with that Liverpool lad. I'm trying to remember his name. If you guys can help me. Harvey Elliott. Yeah, they were linked with him as well to come in to replace him, to replace Xavi. So this deal isn't as straightforward as made out by Fabrizio Romano and others, or is it? I mean, I want to know what you guys think about this whole Garnacho Xavi Simons thing. Let me hear your thoughts, lads.
I think it's sell. They want to move players on first before bringing anyone in, and because Leipzig seem to have a shopping list of the players that they want from us. You started off with Chukwuemeka, then it was Tyreek George, then Nkunku. There's quite a few players in there that they are interested in that want to bring over, which again is going to be a separate deal to the Simons thing. And I think at the moment, though we saw quite a lot of outgoings in the positions that Simons is playing in and sort of Garnacho, there's still quite a few attacking players that we still need to shift on. So I think if they can agree some sort of deal on one of those players, I think it will then push through pretty quickly on the Simons side of things. I think the Garnacho one, I think it's inevitable. I think it's going to happen. At this moment, it's definitely going to happen before the Simons deal, only because of the position that he plays on the left wing, being only one left winger, bar Tyreek George, but who's also potentially looking at leaving and is in talks with the Leipzig side. We're only going to have one left winger in Jamie Gittins. So it's more of a required position where you've got the 10, where Esteval can play in the 10, João Pedro can play in the 10, and obviously you've got Cole Palmer. So you've already got three options in that 10 role. So I do think Garnacho is probably going to go through first, unless they agree on a player to switch, or if they do bring in Harvey Elliott. I think if Harvey Elliott comes in again, Xavi Simons will be released through the door, because I think the personal terms are done on Simons' side, if I'm not mistaken. So on both players' sides, personal terms are done. It's just the club's really holding it up. But I think, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, let other guys have the view on it, but I think Simons is also going to open up a new formation, which I spoke a little bit about earlier. But yeah, what do you guys think on the Simons and Garnacho thing?
I think the thing about, I basically agree with what you said about Garnacho. And what Mo said. I think the reason that deal is going to happen first is because it's less complicated. It is literally just a case of, United were credited with interest in Jackson, but now they've bought Sesko. That's just not going to happen, is it? So United don't want any players from us. They just want us to, they're going to try and squeeze every penny they can out of the Garnacho deal because he's an academy boy, and that is pure profit on their books. Do you know what I mean? So it's obviously a really good sale for them. Yeah, like you say, Garnacho is a spot we need to fill in the team. Tyreek George, at the end of the day, and it's savage to say it, he is better than Tyreek George is right now. Tyreek George needs game time, but we need someone better than Tyreek George to be able to call on when Jamie Gittins isn't available, or he needs to rest, or is off form, or whatever. The Xavi Simons thing, a week ago, it felt like it was going to happen tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it's just become really protracted, and it's gotten crazy. Like, he kind of excluded himself from the Red Bull Leipzig preseason, and then he's like, me and Mo were talking about it earlier. He's like, oh, actually, no, this deal hasn't happened yet. So does anyone know if he played that game yesterday or whatever it was?
He did. 19 minutes, yeah.
So, the thing is, Xavi Simons is a bit of a mercenary. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've only got to look at his history. La Masia to PSG at the age of 16, complained about not getting game time, gets loaned to PSV Eindhoven, goes to Red Bull Leipzig for, 1 year on loan, then another 6 months on loan, gets bought 6 months ago, and now we're already buying him. Do you know what I mean? So from Leipzig point of view, I think one of the reasons why the deal's taken a while is because they paid 50 million for him, right? 6 months ago, they paid 50 million for him. He's made it very obvious he doesn't want to be there anymore, but they're obviously in a situation like, well, if we're going to sell him, we've just spent this mass amount of money on him, we want to make sure we get a decent amount back. So I'm sure that it was a case of they were saying, oh yeah, we want 70 mil for him or whatever, and we were like, no, but here's some players, can we, do you know what I mean? So, I think that's kind of the reason for it. Leipzig need the deal to work in their favour, even though he doesn't want to be there, because they've put that outlay on him so recently. Even though he's been there for 2 seasons, he's only actually been a Leipzig player for 6 months. So that really, really complicates the deal. And it does worry me a little bit, do you know what I mean? If anything, I think Simons' attitude problems are a little bit more worrying than Garnacho's. I think Garnacho's make a bit more sense, do you know what I mean? Because there's a bit of a betrayal thing with how he's been treated at Man United. But I think Xavi Simons is a bit of a mercenary. Wicked player, and completely agree with Kai. Like, what I'm excited about is this idea of the dual number 10 thing. Do you know what I mean? That kind of new formation that we can go into with players like that. So it's not just about he's backup for Cole Palmer. Like, there's a real opportunity to have both of these really, really good attacking midfielders in the team at the same time. So, I'd love to see him in the team, but I'm just get a bit worried about how much of a mission it's been to get this deal over the line. Do you know what I mean? And is it ultimately going to be worth it?
I have a little take on it. Look, from what I'm reading, from what I've seen so far, I think that the Simons deal is far from getting done. It's not anywhere close to getting done. If it is close, I'll tell you what, RB Leipzig would never play this player if the deal is that close. He's playing a lot of games, and they don't care if he gets injured or not. That should tell you that the deal is not anywhere be done. You get what I'm saying? And also regards to Alejandro Garnacho deal, I don't know. If I'm one of the few people who are aiming for this deal to happen, I see something else that a lot of people don't see. And what I keep saying is, what is the problem with Alejandro Garnacho? It's going to be an easy deal to do because this is a Premier League player and he is more proven. There's a lot of hype on these Xavi Simons that, they see those little flicks and tricks that they see on social media, the highlights, and make them think that he's going to come in and play be like Eden Hazard. And I said, far from that. If you see how Florian Wirtz struggled in today's game against Palace, that should tell you what you're going to expect from Xavi Simons. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad player. I'm not saying it's not going to work for him in the Premier League. It's something that we all don't know. So I want the fan base to just take it easy on these players. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then maybe some other time. But Alejandro Garnacho, you know what to expect. If it's attitude issue, it's easy to manage those things. It's easy to manage. Manager have to sit the player down. The club have to sit the player down. This is Chelsea Football Club, and this is how we do things. We don't want most of our problems in public. We keep things within us. If you want to play for us, there should be clause. You want to play for us, you want to join us, we want to work with you, but your brother have to stay away from what he does or what he was doing with Manchester United. If you put all those things in, that's clause. It's signed. I'm sure he will stick to the rules. And if everyone is behaving, I don't think we're going to have the bad one among the bunch of players that we have. He's not going to distract anything. Alejandro Garnacho will not distract. This is the culture, so toxicity at Manchester United. I don't think he's going to have the same thing at the football club because we are properly run football club. And that's why I have hope. And I've seen what he can do already. I'm not saying he is a Cristiano Ronaldo, but the guy comes with good ego that he wants to perform on the pitch. Like, give me the ball. Like, Estavio was asking for the ball. And it makes it look like he's even Premier League ready. He's ready to start games for Chelsea. I'm not saying he should start games. So that's why I'm even pushing for Garnacho more of the Simmons, because he's already been in the Premier League for over 3 seasons. What else am I to expect from him? I know he can play. But Xavi Simons, I don't know what to expect from him.
I want to address a couple of the comments in the chat. Firstly, Gabriel, big up to you, my man. It's good to see you back in the chat. It's been a while. One of the old school subscribers on the Blue Lounge, so big up to you, my brother. He says, I feel like the minority to not be bothered if we sign Simmons or not. He's definitely been hyped by his agent and by his agent and Romano daily tweets of building his profit profile. My screen is a bit small. I'm not reading off the screen that you guys are watching. Profile. Then he says karma. When fans ask the questions, so Xavi Simons is hyped. Is Xavi Simons that big of a improvement to the squad? Is he really going to come in and do more than what we currently have in our attack? Because right now, what we've seen from our players is quite substantial. So I'd like you guys to address that in a second. I also want to read another comment here from Omar. Omar says, again, I need to make this bigger on my screen. Garnacho will be more for the end of the window. I believe as Chelsea are the only buyer, so Man United will be desperate to sell. So assuming that Garnacho will be quite an easier signing, as mentioned by Kai earlier. What do you guys think? Is Xavi Simons overhyped? Is Garnacho really the player that we need? Because looking at this, I think we are more inclined for a bolstering of the left-hand side than the heart of the attack, which is where Xavi Simons would fit in. What's your thoughts on the overhyped bit by Gabriel, guys?
Look, I think Simons is a good player, but like any player coming from the German league, because we've had a few, it's always difficult. This is the Premier League. It's the toughest league in the world. It's the most physical. It's the quickest. Players can struggle to adapt in terms of their physique, their athletic ability, but his technical ability, he is good technically. I think the biggest problem with this deal is because it's dragged so long and we're seeing the same stuff, the same hype day after day, fans are just getting annoyed with it. It's like, get it done or move on and stop talking about it. And I think that's the biggest problem. And I think Garnacho is the other way, because we sort of all accepted now that it's pretty much inevitable, it's going to be a done deal. There's also not a lot of expectations of what, at least from the majority of the fans, no one's going, oh, Garnacho's going to come in and light it up. So there's no expectations on him. So he's going to have a lot easier run coming into the squad than Xavi Simons will, because no one's expecting him to come here and bash it up. They just expect, oh, he's just going to be a squad player, which is going to help the player because he's not going to have the weight on his shoulders of having to deliver this magical moment every time he steps on the pitch. He's also going to come with a little bit of fire because he's, especially, I guarantee if he signs and you see him in the game against Man United, because he will play, you watch what he does. He will be battering them players. He will be coming on with a bit of fire because he needs to prove something. And he's been slated, and for his attitude and the way he's conducted himself over this season, not his ability, just outside of football, has not been the best, but I don't think it's just down to him. I think it's more family members side of things. But the pundits, every other fan, they've just been slating him. So he's going to come with a different sort of mentality, a different sort of aggression to prove everyone wrong. Where Xavi Simons has got the complete opposite end, where every pundit, every fan is going, how amazing of a player he is, and he's going to come in and light it up, which could prove a little bit too much on his shoulders, especially in the beginning. Let's be honest, if he's not going to play a dual 10, he has to get in front of Cole Palmer, and that ain't going to happen. So there's no way you can tell me that Xavi Simons is a better player than Cole Palmer. I won't have it. Even after the okayest season Palmer had, it's just not going to happen. But I think, yeah, definitely on the left-hand side is probably the area that we need to improve on first, rather than a 10.
I think in isolation, looking at Garnacho, like trying to forget that, you know, he's a Man United player and there's, you know, attitude problems and this and that and the other. I've done quite a few deep dives into Garnacho stats recently. And one thing is that, what's he, 21, 22 at the moment?
Yeah.
Since his debut, his goal and assist return and his output has improved year on year without fail. And that is always by 3 to 5 goals a season, 3 to 5 goal involvements every single season. And that's even more impressive when you actually consider last season, Man United finished 15th. And halfway through the season, they brought in a manager who has no interest in Garnacho's style and type of player that he is. So this, I've been, because I've been one of these guys, right? Like, you know, Nee's really positive about Garnacho, and I've been trying to channel some of that energy. Do you know what I mean? Because it looks like it's nailed on. So, but looking at it, man, Garnacho got 21 goal involvements across all competitions last season for a 22-year-old in the Premier League, in the worst Man United team of all time. That's really impressive. Imagine what he could do if he's brought into a system that suits his style of play, where he will get to express his best self. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a real difference between him and Jamie Gittins as well. They are both byline wingers. Gittins is obviously a lot more adept at taking on his man. But Garnacho is a more direct goal threat. Do you know what I mean? So he has much higher shot creating actions per 90 in those stats. And you know, looking at it as options, right? I think about it in the same way as look at the difference between João Pedro and Liam Delap. They are not two players that have been brought in to play the same roles. We're not going to be. I don't think we're going to see Liam Delap turn into this guy who learns how to drop deep and facilitate play. I think we've bought an old school bullyish kind of striker because we want that as an option. And I kind of see that with Gittins and Garnacho as well. I think Garnacho is a similar style of player to Gittins, but I think that he is going to offer a more direct attacking threat from the left-hand side. So, like I say, in order to reconcile the news that it looks like, you know, the agreement's been made, the personal terms have been agreed and stuff, they're just haggling about money. I think the comment that the guy made was a really fair point, actually, to be honest, because we're not going to get fleeced for Garnacho because Man United are desperate to sell him. They've just spent, they are going to spend upwards of 80 mil on Benjamin Sesko. They have brought in quite a lot of players this season. Do you know what I mean? There's talks about them being in for Donnarumma, and that's going to cost them a pretty penny if that happens as well. So at the end of the day, if they're haggling over 3 or 4 mil, whether it be like 33 or 37 mil to, do you know what I mean? Eventually Chelsea will win that battle. So I can see, I think you guys might have a point in the comments that, yeah, that might be a later deal. Although it feels like it's kind of done, Chelsea will string it out because we're not in as much of a rush to buy him as Man United are to sell him. Because A, they need to make the money. He's book profit because he's an academy player. B, because of the attitude issues that we're talking about, they need to get him out of Carrington, man. Do you know what I mean? They have got a vested interest in getting him out of their squad as soon as possible so they can start focusing on their new stuff going forward, because he's obviously made it very, very clear that he also doesn't want to be there anymore. So, yeah, I think it's interesting, man. I'm trying to, like I say, channel some of Nee's positivity about Garnacho coming in because I haven't really been feeling it for a while. But the more I look into it and the more I try and remove the lens that most Chelsea fans seem to have for one reason or another, at the end of the day, he's a really young player who got 21 goal involvements, and 7 of those came in a Europa League campaign in which they got into the final. Do you know what I mean? He's a kid for a big event. He can score an unbelievable goal. And before all of this stuff started happening with Amorim, we hadn't really seen anything about the attitude problems, and Man United fans absolutely loved him. So hopefully, if we can get that Garnacho, I'm game.
Yeah, just to caveat on that, one of Garnacho's biggest attributes is his goal creation. Like, he creates goals for other players on the pitch, more so than he scores himself. I think this is one of his best stats, and you're right, we hold the power in this negotiation. I think the biggest problem for Man United is it was made so public that they want to get rid of him and he wants to leave. And once that happens, the club loses all power in a negotiation because everybody knows they want to get rid of him. And Garnacho has made it clear that there's only one place that he wants to go, and it's Chelsea. And that's why no one else is going in for him, because there's no point. He wants to come to us. and Chelsea are just going to sit there rubbing their hands, waiting for United to crack and go, yeah, just take him for 30 because we don't want to keep him and we need to bring some money in because we spent more than we actually have.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you. In that, I mean, there haven't been many suitors looking for Alejandro Garnacho, and he fancied the youth project at Chelsea, and he believed that with his ability and the way he plays, he can come in and prove a point. And I was very happy when I forgot my brother's name. Matt. Yeah, I forgot. I was very happy when what he said. Like, he always wants to prove something to United fans when we meet them. I know there will be pressure on him, but I love that attitude from him. I love that ego that he brings, he carries with him. That alongside, not the bad one, but the idea of I can do this, I can push it, I can be better on the pitch. I want to score more goals. That's what I want from a football player. Hazard has that it doesn't care if he doesn't play all 90 minutes, but you put him on 20 minutes, 15 minutes, he knows he can change the game around. I'm not saying Garnacho is that like that, but I can see that also coming from him. Living that atmosphere, coming to Chelsea, I believe that the way we control our players or help our players, he'll be much of a better player at the football club. And also Chelsea have the advantage over him in terms of not rushing, wait for like 2-3 days to go in the window. Then United will be struggling to get rid of him because now what do? You don't want him. Manager have already made that statement on phone, everywhere, social media. I don't want to have anything to do with Rashford. I don't want anything to do with Alejandro Garnacho. Get these bomb squad out of my football club, or these players out of my football club. And Chelsea said, okay, thank you. Hallelujah. 35 million. Will you take it? Okay, yeah, we'll take it because we got to let him go. Amarin can use him. He's got to go. So that's what I'll take from it.
Yeah. Listen, there is a lot of negativity around Garnacho, and I think a lot of people watching the stream would be surprised at what we've just said. But listen, this is a rational look at the situation. Okay, you don't have to love the player, but you have to look at it from the rational perspective. And we've just addressed the position, we've addressed the ability, we've addressed the finances, and we've addressed what we need at the moment. And I think, to be fair, to be honest, we are more in need of Garnacho in the squad than we are of Simmons in the squad at this point in time. So if we're looking at improving the squad or building the abilities of the squad, I think Garnacho is potentially the best option. Tyreek George potentially leaving. There's a very good chance that he will leave before the end of this transfer window. Gittins can do a job. I have to admit, I was expecting better from him. I know it's pre-season, but when I compare the performances that I've seen from the likes of João Pedro and Estevao, and again, it's a really high benchmark to be hitting with those lads, but I was hoping Gittins can do a better job. He hasn't done bad. He hasn't done badly. He's played all right. But because of what we've seen from the others, it kind of looks a little bit meh. And I think Gittins is still young. He's still going to develop. He's still going to improve. And he has got that ceiling, that high expectation, high potential level that he will reach. But I think Garnacho coming in will help him to have that competition, have that challenge, because who's playing? Is it me or is it Garnacho? I got to do more. I got to play better. When Garnacho's on that pitch, I got to do more because I don't want Gittins to be in the start in the next game. I want to be starting. So we want to have that competition, and it's healthy competition. It's not necessarily something bad, I mean, Delap and João Pedro, you can see there is that, competition building underneath both of them. They both want to, be better than the other. We're both starting out fresh in this team. We both want to be the starting striker. Let's battle this out. Let's do the best. And brilliant. That's the competition I want to see on my team. I want to see that. I want to see people being motivated to prove themselves, to battle it out on that pitch and, be the better player that they can be. So Garnacho coming in is not a bad idea. Xavi Simons,
Yeah, sorry.
Also a good option, fantastic option. But I think if we push for it too hard as Chelsea Football Club, we're giving RB Leipzig the power. And really, right now, they have no cards in their hand. You know, they've got a pair where we've got a flush. If you play poker, you know what I mean. They've got a pair, we've got a flush. Yeah, we have all the control here. Player doesn't want to be there. Player wants to leave. Player's kicking up a fuss. They are looking at having him stay, and I think his contract is limited. I think he's got 2 years. Is it left? 3 years left. Something, you know, he doesn't have a long contract, so he could potentially run down his contract and put them in that position. Right now, they are looking to get money to improve their team. They can do that now. They've still got 20 odd days left of the transfer window. They've got the Sesko money coming in, Xavi money coming in. They can, you know, go out there and spend that money and really improve their team in the next couple of weeks. The longer this drags on, the less avenues they're going to have to pursue towards the end of the transfer window. So let's see what happens. But does anybody want to have any final thoughts on this before I wrap up, or are we good?
I do think we're signing both, man, if I'm honest. I think one way or the other, I expect to see Garnacho and Xavi Simons at the club before the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I want to add something to what you just said regarding what's his name again? Jimmy Gettins. Yeah, Gettins. Yeah. I had these conversation with a few guys with Dan the other day, and regarding what Jimmy Carragher also said, that Chelsea are not replacing players with much better, but it looks like they're replacing players with the same kind of players. And Jimmy Gettins is the only player so far that is giving me that vibes, Madueke vibes, in terms of he's so exciting to watch, he's so brilliant to watch going forward, but once you get to the final third, it doesn't really do much. And I know it's very, very early. I'm not really holding the player on that few preseason games, but I've seen many players. I've seen Madueke did that all season, where he'll take a man on, what he does better is he was able to make sure he laid the pass to the right person, which Madueke never does, either being selfish or kicking the ball somewhere else or not even getting the goal. So Gettins, and I had my problem with our wingers last season, that they couldn't contribute to a lot of goals, or they didn't contribute much to our season last season. So Gettins will be under fire, which is he will be criticized a lot. At least he has to produce nothing less than 10 goals. It's a hard thing to take because the competition is going to be very high. Remember, we've set the bar very high, that the level is very high, and every player has to, produce. You got to produce. Gettins have to get nothing less than 10 goals or 7 goals a season for his first season. It will be good, returns from him. And that's how we rate these players. You get what I'm saying? He needs to score goals.
I'll bring Kai in 1 second. It's just, when I was talking about Gettins, the thing that stuck out, and this is in regards to the the preseason matches I've seen so far, not his ability on the ball, not his pace, not his vision to take on the players, his finishing was a little bit lacking. That was it. Everything else I'm quite pleased with, considering it's preseason. He's still quite new. Everything is still fresh, but his finishing, he had a couple of really good chances today, and especially the one where Palmer just laid it in front of him. So that is the only issue, and I think with time that will improve. Kai, I'll let you wrap up on the whole Gittins thing and the.
Yeah, well, Gittins has also had a lot longer rest than all the other players have. So because obviously he went out with Dortmund, so he's been on holiday for quite a while, where the other players in the attacking line played pretty much all through. Even Esteval got to the semis, or quarters. So they have had a bit more, they're still sort of in that mode and in that sort of sharpness. But I'm not worried about Gittins. He's 20 years old. He's a young lad. He shows some promising signs. Another thing, obviously, he's part of the Avengers squad that they're trying to assemble in the Man City's under 23. So there's already an understanding between a lot of the players that are on the pitch, in Cole Palmer, Liam Delap. They're all part of that core squad. So there's going to be a better understanding. For me, his first touch is one of the things that I like. I think he's got a much better first touch than Madueke have. And also, we look at, he's on the left-hand side. Apart from Tyreek George, we have no left wingers. Mudryk is, banned. Madueke, though he played out on the left, he's not a left winger. He's a right winger. So I think he's going to do well. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to settle, coming from the German league into the Premiership, to get up to that pace. But I think there's some promising sides. And let's be honest, if everybody's finishing was good every single game, nobody would miss any chances. He might have just had an off day.
Yep.
If he plays against Crystal Palace and bags 1 or 2 goals, people won't be talking anymore. They'll go, oh, actually, no, he's a bit. So it's just one of those. I have no problems with him. And like someone said in the chat there, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, he's a young player and we'll probably shift him on and bring someone else in. Like, it's harsh to say, but that is the model and that is the way it is at the moment.
Same with Garnacho as well, man.
Same with Garnacho. The young players coming in. We are taking that youthful approach, bringing in these players, seeing what they can do, and if it doesn't work out, they're going to flip them on and bring in someone else. So I have no issues with Gittins. I think he's going to be a solid signing for us, and I think with the Simmons deal, which I agree with Matt, I think it's going to go through. It's just going to take a little bit longer. It's going to open up a formation change. I know we're talking about him potentially playing on the left and coming inside to play as a 10, but I think Maresca might go with a 4 and play Caicedo on his own and allow 2 10s with 2 wingers. Because when we play against low block teams, Caicedo's not going to have as much defensive duty as needed because teams are going to be sitting back, and we come up against that a lot in the Premier League. So if we can just keep Caicedo on his own to allow 2 10s with a right and a left back, sort of right and a left wing, we're going to be able to create those line splitting passes and get in behind more often than not with 2 creative 10s in there, and not have to sacrifice too much in our attack and not dropping out a winger to bring him in.
I'm going to show you guys a tweet from Fabrizio Romano. Literally, he just tweeted this just now. And, tell me what you guys think. I'm going to put it on the screen for you all to see.
Hope it's not Simons.
No, it's Garnacho. So, so it says, Alejandro Garnacho patiently waiting for his move to Chelsea to happen later in the window, and he shows this picture. I mean, wow, talk about pushing it. He's got a little glass clock in the corner there. But yeah, that's the latest tweet from Fabrizio Romano in regards to Garnacho. Okay, yeah, he's proper pushing it, isn't he? He's like, hey, listen, I said it at the start of the window. Garnacho to Chelsea is a done deal. I said it at the start of the window. Xavi Simons to Chelsea is a done deal. Listen, if it doesn't happen, I'll pay for them to go. I'll pay the 60 million. Man, maybe some honest jokes. No, but for real, guys. We have been on for an hour and 18 minutes. We were planning to do the stream for just an hour. But it has been a fantastic discussion. I've really enjoyed it. There will be more of this every Sunday night. So, guys, make sure you have this on lock. Turn that bell notification button on. I know a lot of you are subscribed, but you need to turn that bell notification button on so you do get notified when we go live. I'm going to give each one of my panelists a couple of minutes to introduce their channel and their content. So please go check them out, and all of them, their links is down below in the description. So we'll start with Kai. Kai, can you give us a little bit of a brief in regards to your content?
Yeah, so like all these guys, I cover all things Chelsea. I do like to go into depth and take a look at the tactical approaches that especially Maresca will make. I've done a video recently where I've gone into depth on his tactics and the way that he approaches games, cover all transfer news, games. I am looking to go into doing live streams and things. I said it's still quite new for me, so I'm on that grind, working my way up, but I'm enjoying it. Love to sort of communicate and engage with people more. I said, gone through your chat this evening, everyone looks like a great bunch, and I'd hope for myself I can build up that community. And if you love all things Chelsea, if you love talking about football, come on down, we'll have a chat. I would talk about football till the cows come home. I love it. if it's not Chelsea and you support someone else, come and have a chat. We can have an argument on who's the best team in the world, even though we know who it is.
Chelsea. Listen, guys, his link is in the description. Yeah, please go check it out. And much love to Behind the Dugouts, Kai. Thank you for your time. Let me bring in. I'll let me sign us off tonight. So let me bring in Matt. Matt, give us your brief in regards to the Stamford Sink.
Yes, guys, my name's Matt. My channel's called The Stamford Sink, and not a million miles away from Kyle, like all of us, man. We're all doing some of the same things, but just a little bit differently, aren't we? I do daily Chelsea news, so if you want to know if Tyreek George bought a Snickers in a supermarket yesterday, come and watch my channel and I'll be the one to tell you. But also, like, I do vibey news stuff, and I try and react to stuff. I do match previews and match reviews, and one thing I've just started doing is I've launched a series called Who's the Better Baller, where I will take up to 3 players, look at their stats from last season or where we are in the current season, give them all little point values, and just turns it into a bit of a game show, man. We'll go through 10 stats, and at the end there is a winner because someone had tangibly the best performance last season. And it's just a bit of a fun way to look at the stats without it just being like, here's the stats. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, Chelsea stuff, mate, trying to make it engaging. I've been really fortunate to do a couple of cool collabs with Kai before, and I was really lucky to do one with Football Therapy and one with an Arsenal fan and a PSG fan. So just like Kai, and I love this kind of stuff, man, chatting to Chelsea fans and other fans. And if you want to become part of a growing community where we just love to talk football, get involved. Nice one.
Fantastic. And again, link in the description. Go check him out. Great content. I got to admit, I'm having a bit of a bantering session with him about some private jokes that he refers to when it comes to wingers. But no, seriously, great content. I love it, and I really want you guys to go check him out. If you haven't, just watch one of his videos. That's all I'm asking. Watch one of his videos. If you're not hooked, come and banter me. Yeah. All right, fantastic. Now, the legend himself, Blue Clouds Media, give us a bit of an insight. I know a lot of people here probably already watch your content, but give us a brief insight into Blue Clouds Media.
Thank you very much, Mo, for having me again. As usual, Blue Clouds Media is located here in Detroit, Michigan, to be precise, in the United States. If you don't know where Detroit, Michigan is, United States. And I would say I'm more, content creator. I don't live in Stamford Bridge. I don't live in London. So my content is more around what I'm hearing, statistics, and that kind of a thing. And we have lovely community, lots of friends, members from England, where my channel is mostly open for all rival fans. It's not just Chelsea alone. We have others that comes on. United fans that comes on, give us an update on what is going on on their platform. Liverpool fans, Everton fans on our platform. So it's open for everyone. And also, most importantly, during preseason, you're looking for updates, guy that can give you some content from the press box and all that stuff. I'm your go-to guy that you can rely on me during preseason. I get my power during preseason because these boys are coming to America. But then besides that, the UK fans got their power over here. I don't have that power. But yeah, guys, don't worry. Once I'm ready, you'll see me live in Stamford Bridge. And if you want your better fan cam, don't worry, you come to me. We'll set up the stage right in front of Stamford Bridge, right at Stamford Bridge, for you to jump on and have your stay with all those fancy equipment right there. So yeah, if you want to be part of this growing community, then I'm your go-to guy to come on. But besides that, lovely, host. Mo, lovely host, and I'm always very pleased and happy that when he called on me, I'm always coming to his platform to showcase what I have. It was his platform that I started all this Chelsea mess. It was his platform, and I always give him the credit for that. I'll never forget that. Anyone that has shown me that love, I'll always make sure I return that love back to those people. Thank you, all the viewers and listeners, and all the panels. Wonderful panels. Very, very intelligent people.
Thank you, Nee. No, listen, lads, I'm always on his channel. Blue Clouds Media has been a fantastic partner with the Blue Lounge. I looked back at some of the streams, Nee. You've actually appeared on a stream with me 4 years ago. Okay,
Right.
so it feels like it was yesterday, but wow, yeah, I was thinking, wow, Nee was on my channel 4 years ago. So you've been part of this journey for a very, very long time. So thank you for your support as well. You're always thanking me, but no, you've been part of my journey as well. So thank you for that.
Pleasure.
And your content is amazing. The panelists you have, great bunch of lads. So if he's streaming, there's a very good chance you'll see me on his panel at some point during the stream. Again, I'm not there for the entire stream, but I do try to pop in whenever I can. So
But
big
yeah,
up to you,
Monday to Friday live
Monday to
streaming
Friday.
every day. So
Big up me, big up.
thank you.
Guys, this is the end of the stream. We have been streaming for an hour and 25 minutes. So again, apologies for being, if it dragged on a little bit, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And those OGs on the channel know that in the past we used to stream for 3-4 hours. Not planning to do that anytime soon. But yeah, maybe deadline day. We might do a long stream. I might take a day off because it's going to fall on a Monday. Me and Matt were checking it earlier. So deadline days are full on Monday, and it's a 7 p.m. deadline. So I may take a day off and I may stream on deadline day as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Mo,
But guys,
Mo,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a question. Do you think we can do what we did the last time, where we're able to sync two channels together? Because most of the time, my deadline days goes like 5 to 6 hours. So
Yeah.
is there a way that we can synchronize two channels, or wherever? If our brothers want to do, we can all put like 4
Yeah,
or 5
we
channels together and then hit
Yeah,
the algorithm.
that would be fantastic. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can try. We try to link it so everyone is streaming on their own platform, but at the same time, each platform is going to have multiple different panelists. We got to work it out, see if it works. If it works, we'll do it. We'll definitely do it, because I know we did it last time for 2 channels, but I'm not sure if we can do it for multiple channels. But if we can do it, definitely something to look at. But yeah, for the time being, thank you all for being here. We will see you all next Sunday for this specific show. I am thinking about branding this show, so giving it a, because right now we're just streaming on Sundays. Let's Talk Chelsea, but I'm thinking about branding it. If you guys have any ideas, any thoughts, put them in the comments after the video ends. Not in the chat, in the comments after the video ends. If you have any ideas, any suggestions, any feedback regarding the stream, the layout, whatever comments you have will only help me to improve the content. So please, don't be shy. Share your thoughts. Don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. I got thick skin. If anything on the show isn't quite working out for you, let me know. I'll try to see if I can make it better. But yeah, this show is for you guys. Matt, Kai, Nee, thank you all for your time. People in the chat, much love, much respect. Blue Lounge is signing out. Take it all. Peace.